Okay, welcome to today's presentation. We're going to talk about the earth removing out of her place. And if you have read Millennial Dawn, you've read the first part one, the first 13 chapters, you know that's about abomination of desolation, current events, and how fast we're coming towards that because, we're told that immediately after abomination of desolation, Christ will appear to his saints. But there are a lot of really interesting things that happen that are associated with that first appearance. There are going to be a lot of changes, big changes, that we don't generally talk about. So let's read what Brigham Young said about the earth. He says, "When the earth was framed and brought into existence, and man was placed upon it, it was near the throne of our Father in heaven. And when man fell, the earth fell into space and took up its abode in this planetary system. The sun became our light. This is the glory the earth came from. And when it is glorified, it will return again to the presence of the Father, and it will dwell there. And these intelligent beings I am looking at, if they are worthy of it, will dwell upon this earth." And so we also have this statement, down here from Joseph Smith. He says, "The earth will be rolled back into the presence of God and be crowned with celestial glory." Now, when I picture in my mind, the earth rolling back, I picture it maintaining its rotation and timing that we have presently, and it will take some time to roll back. But what I'm going to try to explain to you today is that this is going to commence pretty quickly, and I believe it will actually the Earth will finally end up at at Kolob, or that vicinity, at the end of the 1,000 years. So let's move forward. Okay. In Isaiah 13, we read about some of the conditions. Well, let's just read verse 9. "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it." Okay, so this is second coming. And then he says, "The stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine." This is the very same set of circumstances that we get in Matthew 24, before the Lord comes with power and great glory, and he sends his angels to save the elect. So in verse 13, "Therefore will I shake the heavens," and what happens? "The earth shall remove out of her place." And he says, "It shall be as a chaste roe." And so apparently Isaiah was a deer hunter. he knew how that a deer, startled, could just be gone, like almost instantly. And he's likening that to what's going to happen to the earth. Again, this is all the same conditions that we have here. The sun darkened, the moon shall not give her light, the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And this is the time when the Lord shall send his angels to the four quarters of the earth to gather his elect. So we have here now JST Luke 17, which is about when the saints return to Missouri. He says, and I made a video about this recently. He says, "Whithersoever the body is gathered," and that is the body of the saints who shall trek back to Missouri. where then the leadership will lead them back. And then the remainder are to be gathered together with them. The remainder are those who cannot trek, and they're going to be brought by angels from the four quarters of the earth to be with the body of the saints. And we read here in verse 38, signifying the gathering of his saints, and of angels descending and gathering the remainder unto them, the one from the bed, the other from the grinding, the other from the field, whithersoever he listeth. And then, what do we have? We have, for verily there shall be a new heaven and a new earth. Okay, so we're going to have a new heaven here. And down here in verse 40, for the earth becometh old, even as a garment, having waxed in corruption, wherefore it vanisheth away. That's very descriptive, isn't it? Just vanish. Okay? It's just gone. And we see this same kind of a thing here in D&C 133. It says the stars shall be hurled from their places. And we know enough about how the universe is set up with galaxies, and stars are moving, but they move in predictable patterns, and they don't just get hurled down from their place. And so it is not the stars that are going to be moving here. It's going to be the earth. Okay, so it's going to be like the Millennial Falcon going to light speed, right? It's just going to take off, and the stars are just going to streak past us, and it's going to be a pretty overwhelming. So here in Revelation 21, we have the mention of a new heaven and a new earth. It says this is when the New Jerusalem comes down from God out of heaven, and he says, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will be with them, and they will be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. So this is when the Lord comes to his saints. This is when the new heaven and the new earth. We'll talk about the new earth later. I'm thinking that's really the continents coming back together. And then we have this same thing talked about in Ether chapter 13. And there shall be a new heaven and a new earth. And this is when the New Jerusalem comes down out of heaven, same as we read up here. So again, it's confirmed. This is when it happens. It happens in association with the Lord's first appearance. And saying that means that we're going to experience that in a very short period of time. And then, of course, if we listened closely to their last General Conference, President Nelson said, but my dear brothers and sisters, so many wonderful things are ahead. In coming days we will see the greatest manifestations of the Savior's power that the world has ever seen. Well, streaking out of the solar system and gaining a whole different perspective on the Milky Way galaxy is going to be a pretty darn awesome sign, isn't it? Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed this. If would like to make comments, we welcome that. And thanks for watching.